Alright, welcome to my day 78 progression guide. So for today, we did not get a level increase, but from what I hear, we should be getting a level increase tomorrow, which most likely will give us 2 levels, allowing us to reach 74. So there's a few things we need to do if this is true. For one, you might want to consider Omnium beacons, since we're going to get a level increase and we really need to get to level 74 so that way you can enter the Greyspace. You might want to consider trying to get max Omnium beacons so that way you can just quickly get to 74. And right now, I can't hold any more Omnium beacons, so I might actually get rid of some of these blues and just try to use all of my vitality today on Omnium beacons. But I also wanted to remind you about the requirements to enter the Greyspace. Now, a lot of people might already know that you need to be level 74 to enter, but you might not know that you need to reach 40% in one area to also enter the Greyspace as well. So if you've been slacking a bit on exploring Vera, you might want to at least make sure that you get 40% somewhere today. If we do reach 74, essentially what we're looking for are these little green portals on the map, and we should be able to enter inside. So once you're inside, I believe it's going to be like a shadow realm of Vera, and you're only going to be allowed to be in there for a limited time. On top of that, there's going to be a lot of difficult enemies, maybe new world bosses. And if you remember the live stream, they recommended that you group up with people. So what I recommend is maybe you try to get a couple of your buddies, plan some stuff out, and then you guys just go into the Grey Fissure together. Because if you go in alone, you might instantly get killed and knocked out or have a bad time. But next, you want to go to your artificial island. Then you want to go back to build and you want to hit claim, because remember, you can only hold these resources for 24 hours. And I did want to kind of go ahead and give you a reminder about your enemies. Since we're going to be exploring more areas, you might forget to go to your artificial island and kill everything. So you might want to just knock that out sooner rather than later. Besides that, you want to make sure you do your Mia's Kitchen and you want to do your 4 bounties for the week. And personally, I just like doing a sparrow. So now let's take a look at vitality, starting with joint operations. So for today, we got access to the shoulders, the helm, the Coco, and the Shiro matrix. So this is actually a really good dungeon, but again, I'm just going to be focusing on mats. But if you want to go for this, I don't blame you. Which brings us to interstellar exploration. Now remember, you need to hit interstellar exploration in both areas. So we want to do Vera, and we also want to do a Sparrow. That way you can see all of the Stargates that you get for the day. But while you're here, you want to look for level 3 or level 2 Stargates. And a good way to tell if it's a level 3 or level 2 Stargate is that if it has 2 in this weapon battery category, it's a level 2. If it has 3, it's a level 3 Stargate. And I recommend that you try to knock out your level 3 and your level 2 Stargates. But besides that, you could consider doing dimensional trials if you don't have any level 2 or level 3 Stargates, or space-time domains if you need money. But since we are possibly getting a level increase tomorrow, you might want to consider just getting some Omnium beacons. That way you can use that to help power you up with experience tomorrow. But I still would try to knock out my level 2 or level 3 Stargates. Then we have our optionals, to where you can awaken your 1.0 characters by giving them gifts. So you can go to the black market, see this island and do the claw machine, and do your 2 trainings for the day. But what you want to make sure that you definitely do is do your fun zones for today. And if you need help on how to maximize your points, I have a guide showcasing how to get the max scores in each of these games. I also want to go ahead and remind you that Cobalt B is leaving today, so if you wanted to get her, you only have a couple hours to do so. But personally, I don't recommend that you pick her up unless you want to get her to a C6. And if you're going to do all of that, I think it's probably just best to wait until Annabelle comes out, because I feel that she's going to be just as good, or if not better, than Cobalt B. But now let's kind of talk about her matrices. Now her matrices are actually pretty good, but we did test this out, and it looks like to where it says 42% of attack, that's based off your flame attack. So if you were trying to put this on like an ice character or a Volt character, I don't feel that it's going to work out too well. Then we have our events coming out tonight, starting with the Thorn Rose. This is a gachapon event, but again, generally these cost over $100, but who knows, maybe they lowered the price. But we do have a Twitter event to where if you like and retweet this post, you have a chance to win a $10 Amazon gift card as well as other rewards. I'll leave a link down to this in the description. But then we have the Mirroria Tour that starts tomorrow, to where you can win 3 red nucleus, some gold crystal dust, and Mira. But if you enjoy these daily guides, I would greatly appreciate a like so that way it can spread more on YouTube. Then we have the weekly tab. You want to make sure you're doing enough things down here so you can get everything up top, which brings us to our challenges. Now if you're trying to do something like the Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you might want to save your Mia's Kitchen so that way you can power yourself up. But just make sure you use your 3 attempts before the day is over. So starting with Bygone Phantasm. Now the first thing you want to do is look at the weapon bonuses. If you actually have a good weapon bonus, you might want to consider climbing a few floors, because that could give you the power you need. Then you can take a look at the sequential Phantasm, but since we are possibly getting a level increase tomorrow, you might just want to wait until you're 74. And looking at my competition, it does look like Ryu has at least attempted the Bygone. He's at floor 373, so yeah, most likely not touching that, but we might have to see how it turns out towards the end of the week. Frontier Clash. Now personally, I'm just going to wait until Saturday to go ahead and knock this out. Do one attempt to knock out all 3 of my attempts, but if you want to go ahead and do it sooner and maybe power yourself up, feel free to do that. Void Risk. I'm going to go ahead and save my attempts for today because, you know, I can just use this to also get experience. Plus, I might consider just saving it till Friday and just knocking out all 3 then. But if this is a first time boss for you, you might as well go ahead and knock it out. The Wormhole. Now we only have 3 days left to complete this, and you want to make sure you do because you want to get that energy crystal dust. And the raid. So we're finally going to probably be able to use these raid attempts if we get that level increase tomorrow. So that means we can do the heroic 73 here, and we can do the battle test right here. But besides that, we have the Apex League. We are getting close to the end of the season, so if you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day. Then we got our daily buys. So you want to go to shop, hot, then buy your 2 vitality solutions. Now remember, this is only if you can afford it. Which brings us to the Commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust store. Now, I recommend that you buy your advancement modules, your booster modules, and your Vera special gifts for the week. But when it comes to the Potent Omnium Crystal, if you are a free-to-play low spender, you could consider passing on this. Personally, I think you should try to get a couple of these, at least until you have enough to get the 8.3 suppressor. And then after that, maybe you can slow down then. Because once you factor in those level increases, you might get a lot of CS very soon. FaceTime store, you pretty much just want to constantly be spending all your fragments trying to get the best you can get. Crew store. Now, the only thing that you want to spend your points on are relic shards, and the relics that I recommend are Space Time Rift, unless you have a level 3, or Omnium Shield. So I'm going to spend all of my points on this. And how you get crew points is by doing your daily donations and knocking out your 4 missions for the week. Support store. You want to make sure you buy your 3 joint supply chips for the week, and if you can, you want to try to go ahead and get your proof of purchase and your goat nucleus by using the return support point system. And if you need help on how to do that, I made a video, so feel free to check that out, and hopefully that helps you get your return support points for the week. Point store. Now pretty much all you want to do is just buy Vera special gifts, get enough gifts to where you can max all your 1.0 characters and never do trainings, black market, or Cetus Island again. But after all that's done, I recommend that you spend most of the day exploring Vera because, again, second reminder, you want to make sure you get 40% at least in one area so that way you can enter the new zone. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If so, check out my return support point guide. But other than that, talk to you guys later.